Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Wednesday, February 24th. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church in Maplewood, New Jersey. And Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation to stop and do just that. Take a break and take a breath. To breathe in and center yourself on God, on the one who made you and loves you, the one who forgives you and has mercy on you, the one who supports you and encourages you and knows you better than you know yourself. Each Take a Break, Take a Breath time, I've been looking at a different psalm, and we're up to Psalm 141 today. Psalm 141 probably also comes from this time in the exile, when they were returning from the exile, actually. And this one, it seems that the psalmist is struggling with being surrounded by those who don't have faith and trust in God, who don't live according to God's ways, who don't care about anyone but themselves, but are doing very well in life and living a very high life. And so the psalmist, in a very unusual kind of psalm, prays that temptation would be removed. And it is very reminiscent of the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The psalmist is struggling with all of that and asking God to help the psalmist not fall into all of that. So for the verses that I wanted to focus on, I chose verses 3 and 4. Set a guard over my mouth, O Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Isn't that an interesting phrase? Do not turn my heart to any evil, to busy myself with wicked deeds in company with those who work iniquity. Do not let me eat of their delicacies. I would say in addition that the middle part of the psalm, verses 5 and 6, the Hebrew is very difficult, and there is very little agreement about the translation. So if you open 5 or 6 different Bibles, different Bible versions, you'll see a lot of different translations in that. So at this time, if you haven't already done so, I invite you to go to a quiet place in your house and close the door if the room has a door, and settle into a chair. Feel the support and strength of that chair. Feel its support on the back of your legs and on your back, and if the chair has arms, under your arms. Be aware of the light in the room and the temperature in the room. Be aware of any noises that you might hear for a moment. And then close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Breathe in nice and deep. And then breathe out very completely. Get all that air out. Breathe in the breath of God. And breathe out all that separates you from God. Breathe in the breath of life. And breathe out all that does not give you life. Breathe in God's peace. And breathe out all of your worries and fears and anxieties and concerns. Imagine that the peace of God is growing with each breath, that it's spreading over your body. Imagine it like the warm water of a shower. It washes down over your head and your face, and in doing so, your mind is calm and stilled, and your face is relaxed, and your jaw is relaxed, and maybe you smile. It washes down over your neck, and the muscles in your neck are relaxed, and the tension that had been there is melting away. It washes down over your shoulders and your arms and brings soothing to any cramps or soreness that are in your shoulders or arms, and your hands open. And maybe you turn them palms up to receive God's peace. It washes down your back, and it soothes the muscles in your back and eases any pains and unties the knots and cramps that are in your back. It washes down over your chest, and your breathing gets even deeper. And your heart rate slows to a calm and resting pace. And it washes down over your belly and settles your belly. It washes down around your hips and your thighs and your calves and your feet. You feel the renewing energy of God's peace in the muscles of your legs. You are washed in the peace of God. Surrounded by God's presence. And then in your mind's eye, imagine that you have on a piece of paper a note from a very trusted friend who says to you, a reservation has been made in your name for a dinner at this time, and it gives you this time. And you're standing outside the door of that restaurant. And the rest of the note says that you will meet a very special guest. And so you walk through the door, and the person who is working as the host or hostess says hello and smiles, of course. And you tell them your name and say there's a reservation for you. And the person says, yes, of course, and takes you over to a table where the very special guest is seated. And when your eyes meet, you know that it is the Creator God, the Savior of the world, who breathed into you life and peace and love. That one motions for you to sit, and the two of you enjoy a wonderful meal and great conversation. Imagine for the next moment or two the conversation that the two of you have. I'll be quiet. And then as the meal ends, your host looks at you and says, you know, there are a lot of temptations in this world and a lot of things that make it look like those who could care less are doing better than the rest of you. But know that I love you and that I am with you. And I watch over you, and I forgive you, and you are never, ever alone. Let that sink in. And then let that image fade away. And bring yourself back to the room where you are. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Let's take a break, take a breath for Wednesday, February 24th. If you have feedback for me or suggestions on where we go when we finish the Psalms, or you want to talk or pray together, send me an email to rick@prospectchurch.org, and we'll make arrangements to talk and pray if that's what you wish, or I will definitely take into consideration your feedback or suggestions.